right, let's talk about the Illinois Attorney General's race. After Tuesday's primary, Republican attorney Thomas DeVore secured the Republican nomination to take on Democrat incumbent Kwame Raoul. We talked with DeVore yesterday. Raoul held a separate news conference dealing with a new system that's going to be available for police to track guns, but he was obviously asked about DeVore's victory and what the 2022 November election is going to be like. So let's go ahead and hear that back and forth here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop. You can always get a hold of me on air, off air, email bishoponair@gmail.com, or you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just search Bishop on Air and we can connect that way, or call in live and local at 217-629-7970. So again, here is the back and forth in the first day of the campaign, I guess you could say, for the Illinois Attorney General race that's coming up in November. This is Attorney Thomas DeVore, followed by Attorney General Kwame Raoul.
Things which I think is on a lot of people's mind is that the Attorney General needs to let whoever the governor is know that there's not going to be any more of these mandates against people. These mandates have destroyed lives at all levels in the last 2 years. And so my office would let that governor know, whether it's Mr. Bailey, whether it's Governor Pritzker, you're done with the mandates. You need to find a way to govern the way that the people intended us to govern, which is through the legislature. That'd be the first day. The people in the northern collar counties and the city of Chicago are great people, and they are tired because they have been exponentially more impacted by a lot of these mandates and this government overreach than the people in the southern part of the state. And they're tired of it. They've had enough. They've told me about it. And again, the Attorney General and the governor, they're going to be tight at the hip because, again, Attorney General Raoul has been nothing but an extension of Governor Pritzker, and I think that's going to hurt him in the general election.
Well, first of all, congratulations to Tom DeVore. Listen, in my role, I think in the role of Attorney General, it's important not only for me in this state, but for my colleagues in other states to try to be as nonpartisan as possible. In our law enforcement role, for example, I don't choose which state's attorneys I collaborate with based on party affiliation. I don't choose which police chiefs I collaborate with based on party affiliation. I count many of them who may be Republicans as my personal friends who I've worked with on this project, as well as on making sure we get relief to those who are addicted on opioids and trying to combat organized retail crime. We've collaborated, and we haven't talked a second about Tom DeVore or partisan politics. I look forward to having to being able to compare my record serving as Attorney General to Mr. DeVore and whoever may have been nominated, but with any other parties. It's just that he's been kind of. Yeah, no, I understand your question, and believe me, I would have rather used those resources on some of the other things that I mentioned to keep on continuously making successfully the same argument over and over again about mitigations that we put in place to save lives.
So again, that's Attorney General Kwame Raoul reacting to Attorney Thomas DeVore securing the GOP nomination for Attorney General for the November election. Why this is so significant is because DeVore, for 2+ years, has been making headlines in his court cases as a private attorney that he sued the governor and, in effect, Attorney General Kwame Raoul, who represented the governor, in court. On a variety of different challenges to executive orders that are still having an impact to this day. Again, if you look at the Sangamon County courts, yesterday they found the DHS secretary in contempt of court for not following the law of transferring detainees deemed unfit for trial to DHS care. And that's based off of an executive order that was put in place back in April of 2020 that Governor J.B. Pritzker reissued just a few days ago. So these executive orders still having an impact, but DeVore made headlines for taking Raoul and Pritzker to court challenging everything from exclusion policies for so-called suspected COVID contacts in schools and kids being told that they can't go to school, teachers and parents being impacted by this, mask mandates, vaccine mandates. He's even represented Department of Corrections employees opposing vaccine mandates. So DeVore, having met Raoul in court, he's going to meet him at the ballot box coming up in November. So this is going to be an interesting race. And in particular, when you look at the money as well, DeVore won with only $35,000 cash on hand. The closest GOP rival, Steve Kim, had $633,000 cash on hand. Raoul, going into the November election here right now with a little over $1 million cash on hand. So we'll be watching that race very closely for you and bringing you all sides here. With Springfield's Morning News, I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.